All right, so now we're behind the wheel. We can activate launch mode. Put your left foot on the brake all the way. You floor the gas, lift up. It says launch mode enabled. You can lift off the brake and then you floor it. And you're gone. I'm sorry, I should have warned you. I just see your phone go flying. I'm like, crap.
Yeah, I wasn't ready. I was reading it. Are we still on video?
Yes.
Yeah, my friend's coming over at 3 and he says it's a gorgeous day. I'm like, are you in the same town I am?
It's raining now. This car, this is one of the only cars I've ever felt sick to my stomach in because of the power. And it's because it's silent too. That's what really, really just makes a huge difference. I mean, you're never gonna get sick of that. I know I wouldn't.
I can get sick right now in the passenger seat. It's not like driving. Oh my God, I get dizzy. It's nauseating.
It really is.
I don't know why my passengers complain all the time.
It's
a different feeling for some reason.
It really is, because you don't have anything to hold on to, and you don't know when it's gonna happen, and you know how much it's gonna happen and all that.
Yeah, because my son's always like that. I feel nauseous. I'm like, come on.
Even driving, especially when you launch it from 0 to like 30, that is the most sickening feeling I've ever felt. Because it's 1.4 G that you pull, which is nuts. That's a lot. You know, so this car launches you faster than if you were to jump out of a plane.
Launch again, because I'm ready now.
Like I can't really convey on camera, just you feel your inner organs moving. It's just, this is one of the craziest cars I've ever reviewed. You know, this car stickers for right about 140, you said, give or take.
Well, again, it can go up to 150. Depending on the wheels. These wheels are a little higher, so it's about 146.
Yep.
The other one is 141.
Yeah, so you are going faster than an Aventador, and it feels a lot faster than an Aventador for almost $400,000 less. That's awesome. And if every Prius in the world was replaced by a Tesla, that would be amazing, you know, because they're so great for the environment. And they look awesome. Tesla and their future cars that they're making look great. The Roadster that's coming out, that's going to be 0 to 60 in 1.9, which I watched a video with the guy that was doing all the test drives, test ride-alongs. He was driving the Roadster, and he's like, yeah, those numbers are conservative, which is kind of crazy to think about.
Yeah, and they're adding the SpaceX rockets to them.
Yeah.
So they're going to be like turbines. Kind of like you think of the Batmobile.
Yeah.
So I guess it's like for a gas car, the equivalent to adding nitrous.
I guess so. Yeah.
So I don't know. I can see 0 to 60 in 1.5, 1.6.
Which that's like
motorcycle speed.
That's like rallycross car. Yeah. But it's like, these cars are so great. And now, S is better than 3. That's no contest. The 3 is essentially if you can't afford a brand new S. But as we talked about in, I believe, either the Roadster video or the Model X video, you can get a used S for the same price as a new 3. And that is the way to go. If you're looking to buy a new, or buy a Tesla, not lease, because you can't lease a used car. Well, I mean, you can, but it just ends up being more expensive. The used S is the way to go.
Well, I will say this. Use my referral code, David4621. Right now, and right now it's May of 2019. You're not supposed to announce this. It's kind of inside information, but you can get a $150,000 car for $80K, maybe maximum $90K, if you know the right people. So basically, go down to Tesla, tell them you want a brand new P100D, Ludicrous, or without Ludicrous. It's $20,000 difference, depending what you want to pay. And right now, they're giving away cars. They're not announcing it, so now's the time to buy. It may change in a month, a day, who knows? But right now, I honestly just bought 2 of them because it was basically the price of one, and I'm looking to probably sell one of them and make some money back. You can actually buy and sell them. They're so cheap right now.
Oh yeah. And for what you get for 80,000, I mean, you're beating everything on the road.
Again, if you don't know and you walk into Tesla, they'll try to sell you one for 130, 140. And it's not like they're going to advertise it. And we are talking inventory cars, but this one had 50, not even 50 miles. I think it was 24 miles. They said 50. It was 24 miles.
Yeah,
which is
so
new.
Right.
And so many things were added recently, especially since the last video. Sentry mode right now, if you're not familiar, you could park this car anywhere with your phone or in the car itself. You can set it to alarm and Sentry mode. So you have to put a flash drive. I have a flash drive plugged in, and it will record an alarm depending on what's happened. So someone leans on the car, it may, depending on how hard they or touch it, it may alarm, but it will definitely send you a notification and record somebody hitting, leaning, touching, scratching, anything they do to your car. You're going to have it on video. All angles of every single view. The cameras are all over the car, front, back, side. So nobody can hit and run, in a parking lot or open their car into your car without being seen, which is pretty awesome. They have the dog mode now, where if you have your dog in the car, I don't know if you want to show this.
Yeah, go for it. I can't navigate that while I'm driving.
Actually, it won't work when it's driving. But you could just press dog mode, and that way people will see it. Tells them everything's air conditioned, and there's a dog in the car, but he's protected. He's not overheating. Don't call the police.
And then, so how do you engage the autopilot? Just to try that, is it cruise control up twice?
I think it's towards you twice. It's something I do naturally, and I don't think about it. But just pull it towards you twice. Yeah. Now you can let go. And the best part about autopilot, you don't have to do that either. Basically, when you feel, they tell you to do that, but I've done it enough where as long as you know how to drive, as soon as you feel something wrong or you see it's swerving, you can grab the wheel so quick. It's when you're not paying attention. You're looking at a book or a DVD. Don't do that. People do that. Don't do that. If you're ready to grab the wheel, you're gonna 100% grab it quicker than it could possibly veer off.
Exactly.
Yeah, so this is fine. Now, if it asks you to touch the wheel, all you have to do is do the volume up or down. No more grabbing the wheel or anything. You don't have to. Do not buy oranges or water bottles and stick them in and never hold the wheel at all, because that will allow you then to read books like some of my friends do, and that's idiotic. You're gonna die. There's something could always happen. You have to turn off the cruise.
That's out.
Yeah.
There we go.
Other great thing now is the autopilot's gotten to the point where you could turn it on any road that has the lines, and literally autopilot with navigation will get you all the way to where you need to go. As long as you pay attention to stop signs and lights at this point, it will get from A to Z now completely on. So change lanes, you can set it to change lanes without even asking you for permission. It will get on and off the highways. It will do everything now.
That's awesome.
People have the full self-driving mode already paid for, not just enhanced autopilot, but people who prepaid for the full self-driving, which means you wouldn't even need to ever touch the steering wheel. Those people already have the summon ability to summon it from a parking spot and pick them up wherever they are, and come out of the parking spot and drive around to get them at, let's say, a restaurant or shopping. So
that's awesome.
It's raining, you don't even have to walk to your car.
Yeah, see, that's where Tesla is awesome. That's why people love them.
Yeah, and soon one day, again, when it's allowed regulation-wise, You're going to be able to summon it from California, if, let's say your car's there for some reason, all the way to Massachusetts, wherever you live, and it will actually
do it
without you being in the car. It will stop along the way and charge. That's not actually implementable yet, but all these things will be there.
Which they're going to have to figure out. If that would be the case, they would have to figure out how to charge the car without any physical input. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's something they're going to figure out. And then
where it's like underbelly charging, that's something they're actually working on, where you just pull into the spot.
Almost like wireless. It's just basically going to be, as long as you're near it, it will just charge. Like you said, you could drive over it, be near it.
Right, like the cell phones have that now. You can put it on a charging stand.
Yes, it's going to be there. But another amazing thing is, and he's saying it's going to happen next year, guaranteed. I don't see it happening next year. But they were originally going to call it Tesla Mobility. They wanted to compete with Uber and Lyft and anyone who has self-driving cars would probably want to do this. Like I think Uber's trying to do it. But everyone who owns a Tesla, you go to work, you're barely driving your car, you're working all day, you're staying home, your car's sitting in the parking lot or your driveway. You're going to be able to, if you sign up for this, let your car drive and pick up people without even you being in the car, and it's going to earn money for you. They say you can earn $30,000 a year without even driving.
That's crazy. And you start to make back money from the purchase of the car, you know?
Right. Obviously, if you have a Model 3, you're pretty close to paying off your car within a year to 2 years.
Right. Exactly. And a lot of people now are using apps like Turo to rent their car out. And if they need the car, they say, okay, I'm not going to rent it out this weekend. And then you go and rent out the car. However, the problem is, like, if you take care of your car, everybody knows the fastest car in the world's a rental car. That's a saying that everybody says. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of it, because a lot of people drive rentals like they would never drive their own car. So that's the only issue I would see. That's why I personally would never do it unless I bought a car specifically for it. Yeah, I heard that saying a while ago, and I'm like, hey, that's pretty funny.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's a car that you probably would never want to buy.
Right. That's why I chuckle at these Enterprise used car commercials, and it's like, yeah, I'm not buying a used rental car. See, I love the regen. It's such an awesome feature. It really is.
Yeah, it's something that you get used to, and when you drive a gas car, you're kind of frustrated
that it's not slowing down. Yeah.
And well, the thing I'm frustrated about it, and actually I feel it now more than ever before.
BMW.
Like for example, the Maserati, I have to keep my foot on the brake pedal at stop sign, stoplight, sometimes stoplight for a long time. It actually hurts my back. So, I obviously could fix the seat maybe better. Maybe I'm too far away because I like driving far away from the steering wheel.
Yep.
So I have to actually rest my left foot under my right foot when I'm on the brake pedal. Whereas this car,
you don't need the brake, really.
I don't need the brake at all. Now, people sometimes keep the creep mode on because creep mode may be on when you buy the car.
Yep.
And I always tell my friends, especially if they want to race these, why would you keep the creep mode on? If you turn creep off, it means it will not move like a gas car does when you're at a stop sign or a light, and you want to take off as soon as you're ready. Actually, it would be a light. Then you just have the creep mode off, and then it's not rolling, and you just have your foot on the pedal, and boom,
you're gone.
Yeah.
And even now with like the launch control, it's even easier because it pre-torques the motor. That's essentially what the launch control does. So it's like the equivalent of sitting there with your foot a little bit on the gas and holding the brake, and that way when you just nail the gas, you're gone. One thing that, you, of course you'll probably get used to it, but it's just so silent. You just hear the tires, and now in this case the rain. But it's definitely freaky at first, and it's a little bit to get used to it, but that's probably half the part of why it's nauseating, is because there's no noise to go with it. Whereas the Maserati we just reviewed, that has all the noise, the drama, whereas this, it's just go. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Please stay tuned for future videos, and have a great day.